What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We continue with our 2023 schedule preview and projected record series. Boston College is up next, a team that I think a lot of people expected to be decent last year, at least maybe a bowl team, 6-6, 7-5, but they were a really big disappointment, going just 3-9. And this is the schedule for 2023. It does give you some hope that this team could maybe have a little bit of a bounce back year this year, at least schedule-wise. So they open up with Northern Illinois on September the 2nd. Then they'll play Holy Cross on the 9th. Florida State, that'll be a tough one there on September 16th. Then it's on the road at Louisville on the 23rd. They get Virginia on the 30th at home. Florida State, Louisville, a couple of tough games there in the month of September. They play on the road at Army on October the 7th. Then on the road at Georgia Tech on the 21st with a bye week in between. So those are not back-to-back weeks on the road. They do get a bye week between Army and Georgia Tech. They play UConn on the 28th. And then you go into the month of November with a road game at Syracuse. That'll be a weeknight game there on a Friday night. And then they'll play Virginia Tech at home on the 11th. And then it's another quick turnaround, this time on a Thursday night at Pittsburgh. And they close things out on a Friday against Miami on the 24th. So, interesting schedule there. 3 weeknight games. Well, I say weeknight. Miami may wind up being during the day. But 3 Thursday or Friday games there in the month of November. Look at the big picture here. Non-conference, Northern Illinois, Holy Cross, Army, UConn. Those are your 4 non-conference games. All winnable games. Not guaranteed wins. UConn was they were a bit of a surprise team last year. Army is always tough to prepare for. Northern Illinois out of the MAC. So, it's not a very tough non-conference schedule for sure. I mean, that's a pretty easy, maybe one of the easiest non-conference schedules, honestly, in all of college football. So that's the good news. They also don't have to play Clemson. Remember, if we still had divisions in the ACC, they would be playing Clemson. They play them every year. But with the new non-division schedule, they don't play Clemson. They do play Florida State. That'll be tough. They don't play North Carolina. That's another win, in my opinion, here for Boston College. So a pretty favorable schedule, honestly. This is, like I said, this is a schedule that's going to give them a chance to maybe bounce back this year if the team winds up being a little bit better. So let's get to the projected record. This is the scale that we use. If it's a 50-50 game, it'll be in the white. Less than 20 over 80. Those are games where the spread will be 20 or more points. 20-29, 71-80. Those are games where I think the spread will be double digits. 30-39, 61-70. Those are games where I think the spread will be about a touchdown. 6, 7, 8 points in that range. So I think you got one easy win here. Holy Cross, they should be favored by, a lot in this game. 20 plus points for sure. It's an FCS team, not even a very good one. So yes, Boston College should roll. That's your one guaranteed win. I think they'll be favored by about a touchdown against Northern Illinois, Army, and UConn. Remember, this Boston College team went 3-9 last year. So to expect them to just go out and roll over these types of teams, I don't know if we can expect that. I don't think they'll be favored by a ton. Northern Illinois, maybe they're favored by 10, 12 points. I think Army, that one's probably closer to a 50-50 game than a game that they'll be favored by double digits. I'd say they're only going to be favored by about 6, and UConn's probably about 8 points. That's just my guess, but I think, again, Boston College will be favored in these 3 games, just not by a lot. Florida State's a game where I think they're going to be a huge underdog, 17, 18 points more than likely. I just don't see them having much of a chance in that one. And then I think Louisville, Syracuse, Pitt, and Miami, these are all games where I do believe they'll be about a touchdown underdog, maybe more. Again, I'm going really conservative with this, maybe being a little kind to Boston College here, but this is historically a team and a program that is usually decent. They're not normally 3-9 bad, so you'd expect them to be a little bit better. Again, though, a couple of weeknight games, Syracuse, Pittsburgh on the road, those are going to be tough. Louisville, Miami, they should be underdogs in those games, but you never know, and I don't think they'll be huge underdogs in these 4 games. And then you've got Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Virginia Tech, the other teams that I think are kind of down there with Boston College at the bottom of the ACC. I would favor Georgia Tech at home by 4 or 5. Virginia Tech, those are really toss-ups. They were both really bad last year. Boston College at home, maybe they're favored by a field goal in those 2 games. If they are, Then you're talking about Virginia and Virginia Tech as wins, Northern Illinois, Army, and UConn as wins, and then Holy Cross. That gets you to a bowl game. So again, a bowl game with this schedule is not crazy. To get the projection here, we're going to average everything out. The game's in yellow at 35%, purple at 65%, white at 50%. Florida State's counted as a loss. Holy Cross is counted as a win. You average it all out, and you get to 6-6. So that is the projection. Again, the odds would say that they're going to maybe pull off a win in one of these games in the yellow. Basically split. Outside of Holy Cross and Florida State, they'll basically split the rest of their games and go 5-5 in those games. So that's how you get to 6-6. I think it's a possibility. They were closer to 5-7 than 6-6. If they had a tougher schedule, if they had just one of the tougher schedules in the ACC, I don't think this team would have much hope for getting to a bowl game. But with this schedule, again, there is a chance that Boston College can bounce back, make it to the postseason, and go 6-6 in 2023, and that's what our projection suggests.